Robbie Lawler was the man. He was an assassin, just smashing people.
His nickname was Ruthless. Some of the most ruthless, vicious knockouts you will ever see.
If I hurt him, I wasn't taking his neck.
What were you gonna take?
His soul.
Former UFC welterweight champion, former middleweight elite XC champion, fought in Pride, Strikeforce, IFL.
What happens? I keep coming and I'm trying to knock people out.
People underestimate how high of a fight IQ you had because you were so violent.
If you enjoy stories about legendary fighters, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel further, check out our membership program where you get access to more fighter documentaries. Now let's step into the world of Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Born on March 20th, 1982 in San Diego, California, Lawler was drawn to martial arts at a young age.
When I was young, I kept asking my dad, let me get into martial arts, let me fight, let me box. So I started Taekwondo when I was like 7 or 8. Did that at a pretty high level.
And adding karate by age 10. He then moved to Bettendorf, Iowa, where he continued his training.
Robbie Lawler, Iowa. Kept up with my boxing. Growing up, I always liked Mike Tyson. My mindset of, I'm trying to hurt this guy.
I live in Iowa because it's a good atmosphere for training, down-to-earth people, hard-working people.
Growing up in the Midwest, Lawler had a diverse heritage.
He ain't no white motherfucker.
Yeah.
What you mix with?
Mom's Filipino and Irish. My dad's nice. Black and Indian on his mom's side and white and black on his dad's side.
Trifecta.
Yeah.
At Bettendorf High School, he excelled in sports, competing in both football and wrestling.
If I'm playing football, I'm like the guy who's trying to freaking smash you. Ferocious is kind of how I try to do everything.
He started wrestling in 7th grade.
Middle school, started wrestling. Wrestled as much as I could. My whole thing that I'd always say was, wait until I figure out what these guys are doing.
He earned all conference honors in football and all state honors in wrestling.
I went to state 3 times, placed twice.
By his mid-teens, Lawler's talent was spotted by famed trainer Pat Miletich, who took the 16-year-old under his wing.
When I was a sophomore in high school, Pat Miletich brought like 5 fighters into our high school, and I'm like, hold on a second, what do you guys do? You're telling me this is wrestling and kicking and punching all rolled into one? Where can I sign up? Shit, I've been training my whole life for this. And then I started training with them like 16, just doing the kickboxing classes. By the time I was a junior in high school, I knew as soon as I graduated, that's what I was gonna do, and I just went full time in 2000.
Lawler began training with Miletich Fighting Systems, an elite MMA camp, as soon as he graduated high school in 2000. This rigorous training set the stage for his entry into competitive fighting.
And you had some killers, because you had Tim Sylvia was there, Matt Hughes,
Jens Pulver. Pat was tough until the end.
Hell yeah.
He's still tough. If guys stayed around for more than a month, you were tough. I loved fighting, and I always got in fights growing up. Fighting's easy to me. I just enjoy the sport, the technical side. Being able to whoop somebody's ass is always nice.
Lawler had a brief but notable amateur MMA career just before turning pro.
Pat, he wouldn't let me go pro early. In 2000, I fought a lot of amateur fights. The training was fucking hard.
In January 2001, he competed in the Extreme Challenge Trials Tournament in Illinois.
I never really had a goal when I started fighting. It was just like, I want to beat people up and make money. I like to train and fight.
Where he won 2 fights in one night, both by first-round TKO. These dominant amateur wins convinced the 19-year-old Lawler that he was ready for the professional ranks.
Amazingly made his pro debut a month after his 19th birthday.
Lawler made his professional MMA debut on April 7th, 2001, at an event called Extreme Challenge 39 in Illinois. He was just 19 years old, but he announced himself emphatically by stopping John Reed via TKO in the first round. That year, the hard-hitting Lawler racked up 4 straight wins, all by knockout or TKO. This string of highlight reel finishes and his affiliation with the Miletich camp caught the attention of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Jens Pulver, he's the guy who actually got me into the UFC. He got my fight, and I think it was the IFC or in Hawaii. He set that up, and then when I fought there, Dana was there.
Did he put in the good word?
Yeah, he said, you got to go see this guy. I got signed right after that.
In 2002, at just 20 years old, Lawler was signed by the UFC as one of its most promising prospects.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler!
The first stint in the UFC, I was like, I'm not trying to be famous. First of all, they're not paying me enough to be famous.
Yeah.
He made his UFC debut at UFC 37, facing durable veteran Aaron Riley.
It's weird, man. Really, really hit hard.
Lawler went the distance for the first time, winning a unanimous decision in a hard-fought bout.
I think I made $2,500 for my fight, and then maybe $1,000 in a sponsor, and I was balling. wrestling.
Only 1 month later, he fought again at UFC 37.5, where he scored his first UFC stoppage, a second-round TKO over Steve Berger.
Are so different. Oh, beautiful right hand! And you see that? It is over! He is over! You see the skills of Lawler! Beautiful! And he is victorious! Wow!
Lawler's explosiveness truly shined at UFC 40, where he delivered a spectacular one-punch knockout of Tiki Gosen in the first round.
Oh, big right hand! Big right hand! It's over! This kid swings to kill you!
He like did an interview and he was like talking shit.
Tiki, you said he was a little overrated. Would you take that back right about now?
No, I got a cut. Stopped because of a cut.
Oh. Robbie, another knockout or a cut, as Tiki called it. How do you feel?
I feel great.
By the end of 2002, the heavy-handed 21-year-old had built a 3-0 record in the UFC and was earning a reputation as a must-watch knockout artist.
You a wrestler, but you didn't do a whole lot of wrestling.
My wrestling I used to defend takedowns and land big blows and try to hurt people. Wrestling's a lot of work.
I just want to enjoy myself and fight and compete and go and hide and play video games after.
However, 2003 would test Lawler with the first setbacks of his career.
Lawler and his toughest test to date, veteran striker. I'm psyched up for this one. Pete, the secret weapon Spratt.
At UFC 42 in April 2003, he faced striker Pete Spratt and unfortunately suffered a hip injury during the fight.
This is Robbie Lawler. He's always looking for angle. Lawler, right leg's very shaky.
I remember he leg kicked the shit out of you.
This is the kick that did all the damage, right here. Bang! Oh.
Leading to a TKO loss when he could not continue in the second round.
Make sure you go tell my mom.
Your final thoughts for the night.
Oh my God! I was actually really happy for Pete.
Oh my God! I was happy for Pete, just like you were happy for Matt. I was so happy!
Lawler bounced back that November at UFC 45, gutting out a unanimous decision win over tough boxer Chris Lytle. This set the stage for a high-profile showdown with rising star Nick Diaz at UFC 47 in April 2004.
What was it like fighting Nick Diaz?
First of all, I didn't even know who he was the freaking first time I fought him. I remember us looking at him and going at the weigh, and I'm like, this guy's freaking skinny.
The bout carried some personal heat. The brash 20-year-old Diaz taunted Lawler repeatedly during the fight, goading the heavy hitter into a brawl.
The entire time the fight is going on, like, what, bitch? What you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do, bitch? And then he'd hit him. Oh, bitch, I just stung you, bitch. And he'd be popping him. And every time Robbie Lawler didn't talk back to him, but you could clearly see he didn't anticipate that.
More than anything, his boxing was pretty good, and I was swinging for fences. I wasn't refined, and right away in that fight, he freaking came out and freaking hit me with a freaking 1-2, just boom, boom, and it wobbled me. What he has is he has snap. It's what happens right there at the end of the punch. And if you think about it, he's freaking mean. So there's intent behind it.
It was a shocking upset, and notably the first knockout loss of Lawler's career, that instantly elevated Diaz's status. Just a few months later, in October 2004, Robbie Lawler tried his luck in a division he felt better suited his natural weight, the middleweight division, where he faced Evan Tanner, but was submitted by triangle choke in the first round. After these consecutive losses, Lawler and the UFC parted ways in late 2004.
Why did it end so quickly? I think it was like a 2-year run or so, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't ready. I think I was out of there like 04.
At only 22 years old, the Iowa brawler found himself at a crossroads, needing to rebuild his career outside the UFC.
You didn't take it personally?
No,
Chip on your shoulder?
Because it's sport.
Determined to reignite his momentum, Lawler became a journeyman, fighting across various organizations around the world from 2005 onward. He first headed to Hawaii's Super Brawl Icon Sport Promotion. In July 2005, Lawler fought famed Hawaiian fighter Falaniko Vitale, where he scored a knockout to claim the Icon Middleweight Championship.
A good right, another right, a left, and Nico goes down, and this fight is over for the title, and now people coming into the ring.
Robbie Lawler, new Icon Sport Champion.
I want to say something. I'm not mad at those ladies because that's emotion. They wanted Nico to win, and I have no problem with that. I respect it.
He then entered the King of the Cage circuit in September 2005, winning by armbar submission against Jeremy Brown. He then rematched Vitale at Icon 43, handing him another knockout loss. His title reign was short-lived, however. On September 2nd, 2006, Lawler faced the eccentric Jason Mayhem Miller in an Icon title defense. Miller managed to submit Lawler via arm triangle choke in the third round, handing Lawler a tough loss and taking the belt. It was a setback, but Ruthless Robbie body didn't slow down. Just weeks later, he received an offer to fight on a grand stage, Pride Fighting Championships.
Welcome to Pride Fighting Championships in Las Vegas.
Obviously, I'd watch all the Pride shows because to me that was like real fighting.
Lawler competed at Pride 32 in Las Vegas, Pride's first event on U.S. soil.
It was the first fight in the U.S. when they were basically coming over here, I think, to try to sell it to the UFC.
He made the most of it, delivering a spectacular flying knee knockout of Joey Villaseñor just 22 seconds into the fight.
Lawler with a lightning quick win!
This emphatic win in a premier organization helped reestablish Lawler's name among top-level fighters.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler, victorious in incredibly impressive fashion!
He then fought in the IFL in 2007, knocking out Pamplona in the third round. By now, Lawler had built a reputation for knockout power across multiple weight classes. In March 2007, he returned to Icon Sport in Hawaii and reclaimed their middleweight title by knocking out UFC veteran Frank Trigg in the fourth round.
In the Trigg fight, you see me out there and I'm laughing. And the reason I'm laughing because they're doing something different than I am. They're freaking scoring points. To me, I'm laughing. I'm like, you're scoring points? I'm trying to beat the shit out of you.
You are the first middleweight to hold the belt, lose it, and come back and reclaim it. That was a hell of a fight. Maybe the best we've ever seen.
Riding momentum as an Icon champion, Lawler accepted an opportunity with Elite XC, where he immediately fought for their middleweight title. He fought Murilo Ninja Hua, older brother of Shogun Hua. Lawler won in dominant fashion, TKOing Hua in the third round.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler. You know, most people come to Hawaii to grab some sunshine. Ruthless Robbie Lawler comes to the islands to grab some gold.
Now, as the Elite XC middleweight champion, Lawler was simultaneously a reigning title holder in two organizations. Despite the success, this period wasn't without hiccups and controversy. Lawler was scheduled to defend his Icon Sport title in late 2007, but had to pull out due to injuries. As a result, Icon stripped him of that championship in early 2008 for inactivity. In Elite XC, Lawler's first title defense against Scott Smith in May 2008 ended in frustrating fashion. The fight was ruled a no contest after an accidental eye poke from Lawler left Smith unable to continue. The two met in an immediate rematch where Lawler decisively defeated Smith with a second-round TKO via kicks and punches. That victory marked Lawler's first successful Elite XC title defense. Unbeknownst to him, it would also be his last fight for the promotion. When Elite XC collapsed in 2008, Lawler was left without a promotion, and Strikeforce quickly signed him as it absorbed former Elite XC talent. Lawler entered Strikeforce in 2009 and was thrown straight into elite competition. He debuted against former Elite XC champion Jake Shields, but suffered a quick first-round guillotine submission loss. Determined to rebound, Lawler returned in January 2010 against Melvin Manhoef.
And he was knocking everybody out, and I was like, holy shit.
After absorbing heavy leg kicks, he waited for his moment and landed a single overhand right that knocked Manhoef out cold.
Beating the shit out of my leg, yeah, for sure.
Bro, that was a crazy comeback.
A vintage Ruthless comeback.
Came in for the kill and I was able to catch him with a big one.
In his next fight, he faced Renato Sobral and lost by unanimous decision. He then fought Matt Lindland and won by knockout, setting the stage for his title fight against Jacare Souza. In January 2011, he received a shot at the Strikeforce Middleweight Championship, challenging Ronaldo Souza. Lawler rocked the champion early, but was submitted in the third round. He was then matched with Tim Kennedy, where he famously fell asleep at the pre-fight press conference.
Do you remember the Tim Kennedy fight, the press conference? You fell asleep?
Yeah.
Like you were completely disinterested in all of this.
And later lost the bout. After the Kennedy fight, Lawler went through a personal battle, questioning who he wanted to be as a fighter.
After the Kennedy fight, I'm like, what the heck's the matter with me? Who am I? Like, why isn't the guy that I know I am showing up?
Dissatisfied with his recent performances, he found new motivation and committed to getting into the best shape of his life, determined not to become just another name on the roster. Around this time, Lawler was cross-training at Extreme Couture, reflecting a period where he was searching for the right environment to revive his career.
Who am I going to be? The guy who's fighting for a decent paycheck and just being another guy. So then I cleaned up my diet, just grinding hard workouts, doing my own thing. All right, get back to it.
He rebounded with a highlight reel flying knee knockout of Adlan Amagov. Before closing his Strikeforce run with a decision loss to Lawrence Larkin in July 2012. When Strikeforce was absorbed by the UFC, Lawler's contract carried over.
When I knew that they were buying it, Dana was like, hey, I think you're going to be working for me pretty soon.
Around this time, Lawler also made a major life change. After over a decade, he left his original camp at Militich Fighting Systems and relocated to Florida to join American Top Team. The stage was set for Robbie Lawler's unlikely comeback on the sport's biggest stage.
When they bought my contract, I was excited. Now I'm going down to freaking 170 where I should be and fighting all the guys that I had been watching for 5+ years.
Were you motivated by the belt? Like when you got to the UFC, did you say to yourself, I need to be a champion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. It's time.
In early 2013, Lawler re-signed with the UFC and dropped back to welterweight, immediately making an impact.
The guy that showed up in the UFC in a different weight class at 170, you were a completely different person.
Because they called it the true resurgence.
And you freaking wrecked everyone.
He knocked out Josh Koscheck in the first round at UFC 157.
He took me down, but I was in shape, so I just kept getting up, getting back up, hit him, went behind, and then just started hammering him. The guy's head was like bouncing.
Earning knockout of the night.
It was just truly the ruthless one when you came in. The only chance they have is to try to take me down.
That summer, he followed up with a brutal second-round head kick KO of Bobby Volker, quickly reestablishing himself as a top contender. By November 2013, Lawler's string of wins earned him a showdown with the division's number 3 ranked contender, young Canadian phenom Rory MacDonald.
What happened was quietly in a text to Dana, I was like, hey, I want to fight that guy.
Oh, wow.
Because he was next in line. If I beat that guy, then I'm the guy.
At UFC 167, Lawler defeated Rory MacDonald by split decision. Weeks later, Georges St-Pierre vacated the welterweight title, setting up Lawler versus Johny Hendricks for the vacant belt at UFC 171.
Johny Hendricks was a dog.
He's really freaking strong. Just a pure brute, too.
After a brutal 5-round war, Hendricks edged a unanimous decision, but the fight of the night only reinforced Lawler's toughness.
That one was the most important, by the way, as far as catapulting me to who I was. Then I lost that one and just got right back on the horse.
True to his warrior spirit, Lawler didn't take much time off after the title try. He fought again 2 months later in May 2014, knocking out Jake Ellenberger, and then headlined UFC on Fox 12 in July 2014 against Matt the Immortal Brown in a title eliminator.
What's so crazy about your career is I feel like it's just like one banger after another banger. It's like no easy fights. And then you fight Matt Brown, and that was like fight of the night as well.
The two sluggers went toe-to-toe for 5 rounds, with Lawler earning a unanimous decision victory in another fan-friendly brawl. That win secured Robbie Lawler a second shot at the championship before the year's end. His relentless march in 2014, 3 high-profile fights in 5 months, had positioned him as the top contender once again. On December 6, 2014, Lawler rematched Johny Hendricks for the UFC welterweight title at UFC 181. After a razor-close 5-round fight, Lawler won by split decision.
So I'm listening to the scorecards, and so I knew I won. I just knew it. When it happened, it was just kind of like all the hard work paying off.
Finally capturing UFC gold. At 32 years old and 13 years into his career, he had reached the top of the sport.
It's got to be a crazy feeling though when they put the UFC strap on you though, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just been an amazing journey, but this wasn't easy.
Robbie Lawler, congratulations. I know this is a huge, huge moment for you. Enjoy it. You're the new welterweight champion of the world.
Robbie Lawler, the first man from American Top Team to win a UFC belt.
That's a huge, huge victory for him.
Lawler's first title defense became legendary. At UFC 189, he rematched Rory MacDonald in one of the most brutal wars in MMA history. The fight served as the co-main event beneath Conor McGregor versus Chad Mendes, a matchup that drew massive attention and brought huge viewership to the card. After 4 savage rounds, Lawler surged in the 5th, finishing MacDonald by TKO despite horrific damage to his own face.
This fucking thing I've ever seen. This fucking man. Don't talk.
It actually healed pretty fast, like within like 2 weeks.
The fight was instantly hailed as one of the greatest ever, earning Fight of the Year honors and later a place in the UFC Hall of Fame.
Is it a more satisfying victory because it was such a wild and crazy fight?
It's more exciting because I showed everyone I'm a true fighter. I come to fight. No matter what happens, I keep coming, and I'm trying to knock people out.
This was the first time that people really got to see who I am. This is who I am. This is what I've been the whole time. Now I get to show the world on a stage that, thank you, Connor.
See, and that's
brought me to that stage so I could put on a show.
ESPN voted it the best fight ever in MMA history in 2017.
It was awesome just because he pushed me to the limit, forced me to show everyone the heart that I always knew I had, and it was just a battle back and forth.
Lawler defended his title against Carlos Condit at UFC 195, winning a razor-close split decision after 5 hard-fought rounds. The bout earned Fight of the Night and marked Lawler's 3rd straight Fight of the Year level performance, cementing his reputation as one of the most exciting champions ever. However, every championship reign eventually meets its challenger, and for Lawler, it was Tyron Woodley. The two headlined UFC 201 on July 30th, 2016, in a rare matchup between former ATT teammates. Woodley stunned Lawler with a first-round right hand, ending his title reign in just minutes. Only the second time Lawler had been stopped by strikes.
It's humbling, but it's like, okay, now what? What do I want to do with my life? I actually didn't want to fight. I spent time with my family and started building other things outside of fighting, because for so long, that's all I did. Freaking selfish training.
The loss marked a turning point. Lawler soon left American Top Team to train under Henry Hooft at Kill Cliff FC in Florida. Though some claim the split was due to internal tensions, Lawler simply said ATT was no longer the right fit. The defeat closed his championship chapter, but not his fighting spirit. After losing the title, Lawler took several months off to recover from the knockout and the toll of 3 straight wars. Lawler returned in summer 2017, training out of Florida, and faced Donald Cerrone at UFC 214, earning a unanimous decision in an action-packed 3-round fight that he dedicated to Matt Hughes, who badly injured himself in an accident. Later that year, Lawler headlined against former champion Rafael dos Anjos, tearing his ACL during the bout and losing by unanimous decision, an injury that sidelined him for all of 2018. After returning in March 2019, Lawler faced undefeated Ben Askren at UFC 235. He nearly finished the fight early with a slam and a barrage of strikes, but Askren survived and locked in a bulldog choke. In a controversial moment, Herb Dean stopped the fight when Lawler's arm went limp, though Lawler immediately protested that he was still conscious.
I gave the thumbs up and he freaking stopped it, and I was like, what the heck is this?
It sucks though.
Kamaru Usman showed we watched the videotape together. He's like, no, he's giving the thumbs up. I'm like, shit.
Nobody's gonna know whether he was conscious or unconscious. What I saw everything that would indicate I'm seeing an unconscious fighter. I see an arm go limp for no reason whatsoever. That's what I have to work with.
Askren won by technical submission. Dana White called it a bad stoppage, and despite talk of a rematch, it never happened. In mid-2019, a planned rematch with Tyron Woodley fell apart due to Woodley's hand injury, so Lawler instead faced Colby Covington at UFC on ESPN 5. Covington, a former ATT teammate, trashed Lawler in the build-up, accusing him of quitting the gym because of a picture.
He took his ball from the yard and left because of a picture.
What picture?
A picture they put up of Tyron Woodley getting his hand raised of when he beat Robbie Lawler. It was put up in the gym.
Oh.
That's exactly what happened. He got up in his feelings, started crying, and turned his back on all the people that helped him from the start. That's why he left the team, Ariel. Breaking news. Here only on Ariel Hawani's show.
The accusations from your opponent that you turned your back on American Top Team.
I think it's just him talking. I don't really pay much attention, and I know why I left. That's all that matters.
In the fight, Covington used relentless volume and wrestling to win a lopsided unanimous decision, handing Lawler his 3rd straight loss. The losses were piling up, but Lawler wasn't finished. A planned fight with Santiago Ponzinibbio fell through in late 2019, and after COVID disrupted the schedule, Lawler returned in 2020 only to lose a decision to Neil Magny, before an injury canceled a bout with Mike Perry. After a year away, Lawler came full circle with a long-awaited rematch against Nick Diaz at UFC 266 in 2021.
I wasn't doing so well in fighting at the time, and he comes out of retirement and he freaking chose me. And I'm like,
no.
I trained very freaking hard for that fight.
Unlike their first meeting in 2004, when both were young welterweights, this rematch was contested at middleweight and had a more respectful tone despite Nick Diaz's notorious persona. This time, Lawler pressured Diaz and scored a 3rd-round TKO, finally getting redemption for their infamous 2004 result. The two veterans showed respect afterward, putting a cap on their long-overdue rematch.
The interaction that you had with Nick was a different side of you. You know, it was caught on camera where you said if he needs any help to reach out or you'd want. It was a very empathetic side in the heat of the moment.
If who's not going to look out for a fighter other than fighters? Like, I just felt like he needed to know, like, I'm there if you need something.
Lawler's penultimate fight came at UFC 276 in 2022 against Bryan Barberena, and it was vintage Ruthless. Even at 40, he was still willing to stand and trade, but Barberena's pace eventually overwhelmed him, stopping Lawler by second-round TKO. It was a loss, but it still earned Fight of the Night, proof that even near the end, Lawler could still drag you into the fire. A planned fight with Ponzinibbio later collapsed due to injury, and suddenly the questions about retirement got louder.
It was hard to coach, recover from training, just a lot of work, and it was like, do I want to keep doing this?
In 2023, Lawler chose to close the book on his own terms. With his legendary war against Rory MacDonald heading into the Hall of Fame, he picked International Fight Week for one final moment. At UFC 290, he wrote the perfect final chapter.
Final fight? Retirement fight?
Yep, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, you never know, right? But yeah, that's the feel I get.
Stopping Nico Price in just 38 seconds. The crowd exploded as Robbie Lawler walked away the way he always wanted to, with a knockout.
For the last time, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, and that was a storybook ending to an absolutely spectacular career.
You win in a way that I feel like all fighters of your stature should go out on. This highlight fairy tale KO.
The Las Vegas crowd erupted as the 41-year-old legend had his hand raised one last time. After over 2 decades of battles, Robbie Lawler capped his career with his 30th professional win. In the post-fight scene, the UFC played a moving tribute video, and Lawler gave an emotional speech, thanking the fans for their support.
You're a pretty stoic guy, but this is an emotional moment for you. I want you to enjoy it.
A lot of people helped me get to where I am today. Without them, none of this was possible, and I'm blessed, grateful.
And I'm grateful to be there to watch it. It's been an honor to call your fights.
He confirmed that this was indeed the end of his fighting journey.
I never allowed myself until like right there at the end when all those kind words all coming at one time on there definitely got me. You know, I was like getting teary-eyed because I never allowed myself to absorb people's energy when they're thanking me for everything I've done. I didn't feel like praise was something I would allow myself to have unless it was my own praise.
I enjoyed seeing that moment because, you know, you let us know that you're human, even though you're ruthless. Every time you step in there.
As a fighter, what a way to just show all the legends of the sport how you should probably go out.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, Ruthless Robbie Lawler!
Robbie Lawler officially retired from MMA in July 2023, closing the book on a 22-year professional career that was as tumultuous as it was triumphant. In total, he amassed a 30-16-1 no-contest record, with 22 knockouts to his name. He competed in practically every major MMA organization of his era, from the UFC, Icon Sports, Elite XC, as well as Strikeforce, Pride, IFL, and King of the Cage.
When you accomplish something, I don't think about the titles or this win or that win. I remember the faces that helped me get there, and that's the cool thing about this sport.
Lawler's aggressive style and penchant for violence earned him a reputation as one of the most exciting fighters ever. He collected multiple Fight of the Year awards and delivered some of the sport's most unforgettable moments.
Kind of look back on my career now that I'm retired, like not one single submission attempt in the UFC. You get submitted like, oh, you tricked me.
Yeah.
But if you get your ass beat, there's no trick into that.
Lawler's legacy is forever entwined with that warrior ethos. Outside the cage, Robbie Lawler has been a low-key personality, far from the trash-talking norm. He married his wife Marcia in 2009, and the couple have a son together. Unlike many fighters, Lawler largely avoided outside-the-ring controversy and focused on what he does best, fighting. His stoic, no-nonsense demeanor made moments like his manic post-fight scream after the MacDonald War all the more iconic. Even when provoked by talkative opponents like Nick Diaz and Colby Covington, Lawler rarely took the bait, letting his fists do the talking.
How deep you go in fights, you don't see that too much anymore, and you definitely don't see the toughness that you've had.
This professionalism and respect has made him a beloved figure among fellow fighters and fans alike. Since retiring, Lawler has expressed relief and happiness with his decision. I've been doing this a long time, accomplished a lot, and just felt it was time. Importantly, he isn't straying far from the sport he loves. Lawler has said he looks forward to training for fun without the pressure of an upcoming fight, and he plans to continue being a presence in the gym, eager to mentor younger fighters at his longtime gym in Florida.
Yeah, Killcliff FC.
So you're training fighters?
Yeah.
By transitioning into a coaching and mentoring role, Lawler is set to impart the same guidance that he once received as a teen from Pat Miletich, completing the circle of martial arts life.
But I'm going to coach fighters and help other fighters because I didn't do all this on my own. I mean, a lot of people gave to me and showed me techniques, and MMA and martial arts in general is about giving back, and that's what I'm going to do.
In 2025, Robbie Lawler received one of the ultimate honors in combat sports. He was selected for induction into the UFC Hall of Fame, Modern Wing, recognizing his overall career achievements.
Seeing Robbie Lawler cry is a weird thing. You're one of the toughest human beings on earth. I bet you probably don't like to see yourself cry, right?
I don't really mind.
So congratulations on becoming a UFC Hall of Fame inductee. Well deserved. I think everybody can agree with me on that one.
Yeah, thank you.
30-16 as a fighter, 43 years young, former UFC welterweight champion, the two-time Hall of Famer, former Elite XC middleweight champion, former Strikeforce middleweight contender, 22 wins via KO, 1 via sub, wins over Rory MacDonald, Matt Brown, Carlos Condit, Johny Hendricks, Nick Diaz, Cowboy Cerrone, Matt Lindland, Melvin Manhoef.
As he enters the Hall of Fame and enjoys retirement, Robbie Ruthless Lawler can do so, knowing he cemented his status as an MMA legend.
I mean, I'm just the same person I was 20 years ago, just been doing this for a long time and learned from a lot of stuff, and I'm grounded, I guess you could say. I don't no highs and lows for me, just